Homeowners may not know that they share their property with an easement until the painted lines and flags show up in their backyard.
Internet providers have the right to run cable, usually underground. Tonight, First Alert 6 investigator Mike McKnight looks into what a subcontractor left behind that upset an Elkhorn couple.
CenturyLink has been installing cable in the neighborhood. And a subcontractor tells a homeowner that a crew will be working in their backyard.
Okay. Thank you.
But expecting unseen underground cable, First Alert Chief Meteorologist Emily Roller and husband Nick Coulter wouldn't have predicted what's left standing.
Got this tower with this orange sticker on it, and so we had no idea that this was going to be put up in our yard.
The newly installed pedestal has a CenturyLink sticker, but the couple say they're not CenturyLink customers.
Well, I think they should have asked us for permission to put something like this in our yard, or if it's not an option at all to not have it, maybe some input on where that is.
The couple wonder why the pedestal couldn't be installed out of sight outside the fence. The effects of this tower on the yard goes beyond this location because right behind here is a sprinkler head.
Here goes nothing.
When Nick tests the system, that rotating sprinkler head blasts water into the CenturyLink pedestal. That blocks a portion of the backyard from being watered.
I mean, look how dry the dirt is here. This should be soaked right now from the sprinkler.
The pedestal installation blocking a sprinkler head made a splash with the Nebraska Public Service Commission.
I expect them, and I think everyone in the state expects them to use their easements appropriately, responsibly, and with minimal impact. So it is disappointing when that happens, but it's always good when they correct it.
CenturyLink sent me a statement that a third-party contractor should have taken greater care in placing the equipment box given the presence of the sprinkler head within the easement. Though the Public Service Commissioner says homeowners shouldn't say no to cable installers, they should ask questions before work begins.
Try and get as much information as you can. The managers that are going to be on the project, where the project is going to be completed, and what is going to be left behind on the property in the easement.
CenturyLink says it's working with its partners to reinforce best practices and prevent similar issues moving forward.
Why does it have to be right here?
Yeah.
As workers return to the backyard, it appears their problematic pedestal won't stand in the way of a solution to the homeowner's complaint. Mike McKnight, First Alert 6.
Now, crews removed the tower today and will be replacing the sod tomorrow. The Nebraska Public Service Commission has a consumer advocate to help resolve complaints with communication service providers. You can find contact information on the PSC website. We'll also post a link with this story on our website, firstalert6.com.